This is the plaintiff, Linda Hart. She says she rented a 2-bedroom house from the defendants, and he and the other tenant in the house vandalized her pontoon boat out of spite. That's right, she also suffered from mold poisoning while she lived there. She refuses to be taken advantage of by the likes of the defendants and is suing for every single cent of the $5,000 and $3,257.98 she's owed by these two scoundrels. These are the defendants, Joseph Romeo and James Nelson. Joseph says the plaintiff is a disgusting person who lets her dogs urinate and defecate in the house, which caused a mold condition. As far as the boat goes, it was an old rusty heap which sat on land for years. It was falling apart. It has no value. And the plaintiff's just sore. She was evicted by the courts. This is nothing more than a retaliatory lawsuit, and they owe her nothing. They're accused of vandalism and poisoning.
All parties, please hit your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hart, you used to live in defendant Romeo's property.
Correct.
And now Mr. Nelson lives there. And according to you, they owe you $5,000 for ruining your boat and causing you almost $2,000 in medical bills and pain and suffering. Tell me what's going on.
So I went on vacation in June, came back at the end of June, came back July 10th, and there was this really strong mold odor. I went in the spare bedroom. I could barely push the door open because all the wood was swollen. Everything had black mold. The walls had to come
What
up.
had happened?
The AC unit, I believe, leaked, and it leaked into the spare bedroom.
Was this a central AC or
Yes.
a unit?
There's central air on the property, Your Honor.
So what happened?
It's all jammed up with dirt and just a
What
mess.
is it you think they did that would have caused that?
The animals that were in there,
Well, whose responsibility was it to change a filter?
hers.
Okay.
I
Did you
supplied
ever
the
change a
Yes,
filter?
I changed the filters.
So let me see the pictures. And so what was the plan once you heard and saw? I presume you went over there and saw it.
No.
I never was allowed in. So
What do you mean you were never allowed in? It's your place. Why wouldn't you be
her
allowed
daughter
in?
would call the police, and
Who took the pictures?
I did.
Who was doing the work?
The lawn service guy, Jim Nelson.
The one who took over your place?
Yes.
You were doing this work.
Was that on the floor? Yeah, I did.
Okay.
In the back room, that
What
was
is this a
all
picture
an
of, Linda?
efficiency.
That's when I fell through the floor because Jim left moldy insulation in the floor when he took it up. I was trying to pull it out because I didn't want to breathe that in all night.
What time of the night were you trying to pull it out?
About 8:30, 9 o'clock.
And why were you doing that? Why didn't?
Because I didn't want that moldy. He picked the floor up and left all the moldy insulation in there.
You got hurt, and is that what your $1,742.02 medical
I don't know
bills are?
where that figure came from.
Well, it came from you, but can you tell me
Well-
what it is you're suing for if that's not the right figure?
I'm suing for medical bills.
How much are you suing for?
Well, I have 2 receipts here for the x-rays that I had gotten and my doctor.
Okay, may I see them?
Yep.
How much do they total?
Okay, and then my doctor wanted me to go
That's,
get
I'm sorry, stop. That is $90-something. This doesn't tell me anything about what you're at the doctor's office for. Do you have actual medical records that talk about treatment or that you had
Well,
a fall
I didn't
or
have,
anything like
no, I was going to bring x-rays, but they said nothing was broken, fractured, or cracked.
No, but
So-
usually there's something written by the doctor saying the patient has come in complaining of XYZ, she fell, there's something that diagnoses.
No, just those 2 receipts. That's
Well, this
all I
just
got.
says you went to a doctor and paid $55. This says you went to a doctor and paid $44.
Right. Then he
That's all this
wanted
is.
me to get an MRI, but I could not afford it. Just the office visit was $300.
Do you have any medical evidence of that? Anybody saying, I recommend an MRI for her shoulder, anything?
No,
Okay.
my doctor's now
let's
passed
talk about
away.
the boat repairs. What ends up happening here?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. I got a question. If a dog pees and poops in an apartment, can that cause mold inside?
Yes, if they leave it for a while, I would think so.
But pee and poop causes mold?
I mean, that's gross.
Well, I didn't say it's not gross.
No, but it's still
I mean, be real. I'm just asking if it causes mold.
I say yeah.
Huh?
Actually, if you have to go and bring the poop to the vet, it grows those little micro something. So there has to be able to cause some type
Can
of.
you explain what you just said?
No, my dog was just sick and I had a huge vet bill, but I had to keep the poop so that way it can grow and they can see if there was some something in there, so that bacteria.
You are so gross. Going inside the courtroom.
I told him to evict me. He wanted September's rent, came for September. I said, no. I said, just evict me. I'm not staying here any longer. I'm not dealing with it. I'm fed up. Anytime I wanted anything done, it took him months or weeks to get anything fixed.
Okay.
Because I was
And
fed
then
up.
he
I was
took up
ready
your
to leave.
invitation to
Evict me.
evict you. All right, so you end up in court, and your judge went ahead and entered a default, correct?
Correct.
All right, so you got the court order that said you got to get out, right?
Well, they served
knew
me
that.
with final.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then there's a writ of possession saying if you don't get out by what day?
Well,
On
I
that written.
served final notice right here, November 2nd. I had to be out.
All right, and then the final notice of eviction, if you are not out of there by 7 a.m., all your stuff you'll be arrested for trespass. So, what happened on November 2nd?
Okay, November 2nd, I went to work. No.
One would think you would have moved
No,
out.
I was already moved out. I was supposed to get the boat that evening.
What boat? You had a boat on the property?
Yes, I did. I had my pontoon boat.
So was your boat moved out by the final notice? They're telling you what you don't have out by 7 a.m., you're in trouble, and your response is to leave your boat on the property.
Because I had to go rescue my cat that was lost during Hurricane Irma up in
Honey,
Pensacola.
Hurricane Irma was September 9th?
Exactly.
Okay, that's 2 months earlier. So what are you doing that you don't get your boat off of there on November 1st?
It's not
before
2
a
months.
7 a.m. November 2nd, super duper last straw deadline.
November, that's right. And I didn't go get the cat till the 4th or 5th.
Whose problem is that? What did you think the marshals meant when they said get everything off the property by 7 a.m. November 2nd? So what happens? She leaves the pontoon boat on there, and what happened?
The boat sat on the property for a little while. Then I asked the sheriff, what do I do? He said, it's yours.
What did you do with the boat, sir?
I pulled it out onto the street.
How did you pull it out onto the street?
With my truck.
Okay, so you towed it out how far onto the street?
250 foot to the left of the driveway.
Driveway.
Yeah.
I
So
own
you
all
just
the property.
abandoned it in the street?
I own it. It's a private
So
road.
it's still on your property but out of the way?
Yeah, out front. I had stayed there for about 6 days or so.
250 feet away?
About that.
Okay, and then
It's a
when do
big
you
piece
go
of
back
property.
finally and take a
I
look
went on November 5th
And your boat is where?
on the side of the driveway.
So you
where
know
it's
where your
been.
boat was. It was put out. And you
Yes,
still
ma'am.
didn't take it off and take it with you?
I tried. They put a gate across the driveway. Jim was living in the house, would not let me on the property, would not let me take the boat.
Okay.
Somebody called the police. She said if I went on the property, she would arrest me because I was evicted.
Yeah.
So 2 days later, I go back just to get a picture of it. The boat's nowhere to be seen. He must have put it in the barn for a couple, 3 days when he
Okay,
stripped
what
it and
is your
ruined
complaint?
it.
You're suing for $3,000 something
I want him
because
to fix
what?
my boat. He stole the bimini off it. That's $800.
Maybe it got stripped and it was put on the side of the road.
No.
See, here's the problem. We know that you left it behind, and we know that you have zero right to anything. Once you disobey the marshal's last straw, you need to be out with all your stuff by November 2nd at 7 a.m. And then you tell me, but I couldn't because I found my cat. That's fine. But then you have the chutzpah to come to court and sue and say, you've got to fix my boat because look at all that happened to it when it was out on the street, or you just vandalized my boat. I just know it. I don't have any evidence of it, but I know it because we hate each other.
No,
and
I
that's
don't
not
hate
a
him.
case.
I don't hate him. It's 1 and 1 make 2. If they hid it in the barn, and that's when they stripped
But do you
it.
understand that if he felt like selling it, he could have sold it? Are you getting that part, or you're not getting that part?
I didn't get that part.
You don't get the part that says,
The
when
only
we
thing
say
I
you got to
left
get,
there-
is this your boat?
Yes.
When we say get everything off the property, we really, really mean get everything off the property. You don't get that part, right? You think that you still...
Well, I thought being neighbors and friends, Jim would have let me take my boat.
He had to evict
Why
you.
wouldn't he?
Because he had to evict you and you didn't pay rent for August,
No.
September. August
No.
you paid. September, October. He had to, Did you have to hire a lawyer or did you just do it on
No.
your own?
I hired an eviction.
He had to
company.
hire an
Yeah.
eviction lawyer. Well, we thought we
You're
were friends. I thought when the marshal said I had to get out, I didn't really have to get out.
No, Your
Your
Honor,
Honor,
that's
these are-
not
No,
how
I
it
am
went.
so done. Stick a fork in me. I am done. My verdict in this case is for the defendants.
Yeah. So, robbery is for the crooks. Our justice system is for the crooks.
Well, Ms. Hart, the plaintiff has just come out of the courtroom. When you get evicted, you lose your property if you don't get it off. You
Well, I
understand it
didn't-
now? The
yeah.
judge spelled it
Well,
out to
I
you.
understand that now. But I thought him being my friend that I'd be allowed to get my boat. He put it to the side of the road after all, didn't he? After he stripped it. After he ruined it and stripped it. Then he puts it to the side of the road.
You left it. You left it. Was your
Does that give him the right to destroy it?
No, but you left
Okay.
it. Okay.
That's my, yeah, so
The
what
judge
it says.
found against you. I'm sorry.
Right, our justice system is for the crooks. That's
No,
what it
that's
comes
not
down.
the way it
Yes,
is.
it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
She doesn't get it. She just doesn't get it. Mr. Romeo, you had to evict her. She just doesn't get it, does she?
Well, just got to keep her in prayer. She doesn't understand
Yeah.
that once you abandon something
Yeah.
after it technically was mine, but I just
That's right.
put
You're
it
right.
out in the road, come and get it. It
All
sat
right.
there for
Sorry you
days.
had to go through all of this. Okay. Thank you
Okay.
very, very
You
much.
take care. Thank
Okay. It's all over.
Okay, hey, Doug, you know, the plaintiff says it's robbery. The fact is that this was abandonment. And once the marshal evicts her, it is over. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.